Well, hello and welcome to the wrap, episode number 22. It is Thursday, December 15th, 2022, and this is a show wrapping up all things Zwift from the last week. Racing, events, tech, fashion, etc., you name it. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, as well as Facebook and all the Zwift Community Lives channels for the live show. This is also a podcast. You can go ahead and search in anywhere that you download a podcast, Zwift, as well as the wrap, and you should be able to find this and download it to listen to in your free time, on your rides, hanging with the pace partners, not the robo pacers. Okay, just kidding. Oh, it's already shots fired.
Oh, straight in.
Straight in. There's our calm down moment. All right. Well, let's talk about real quickly. Obviously, I'm Nathan Guerra here coming out of Wisconsin. Anna Russel is next to me virtually, but she's all the way in New Zealand. And let's real quickly talk about what is coming at you today. Our special guest, we do a roundup on Zwift updates just about once a month, and Eric Schlange is back with us from Zwift Insider. We'll be talking about what we've been up to on Zwift and if there have been any in real life events at all, as well as Zwift Academy finals are happening, how to train when there's fitness, sickness, or fatigue, and then obviously Anna's favorite section and kind of wearing off on me, the jersey pick, the garage pick, the fashion show is going to be coming up, and we'll be talking about the Festive 500 and what we may or may not be doing for that, riding and completing that Festive 500 with Rafa and Strava. So, what's going on, Anna? Let's start our first part of the show. What have you been up to?
Well, as we saw last week when I was on the show, I was sitting on the floor in a back room of a place I was staying at. And that was because I was commentating at Ironman New Zealand, which was my first time commentating in real life. So, I mean, it was amazing. I did just want to give a shout out to Mike Riley. So all the triathletes out there, I don't know if you'd know him, Nathan. So he's basically the Dave Toll, I guess, but of triathlon. Like, he's the voice of Ironman. And he's been calling people over the finish line for like 30 years. And it was his last, he's from the States.
I think I saw a post. You made a post about this, right? Okay.
I did. Yeah. So he's from America and he chose Ironman New Zealand as his last ever commentating. So that was it. He's retired now from that. And it was honestly the most emotional, So I don't know if you've ever been to an Ironman finish, but it is one of the most special things I think in the world. And at midnight they call in the last finisher, right? And all of us in the event team lined up the finish line, and we gave him like a standing ovation. And then the local iwi, they came down and they did a full haka, which is like, if you watch rugby, the All Blacks do it at the start of their games. So a full haka, and this was at 1 a.m, pitch black everywhere, just this lit up finish line in this field. It was
That's amazing.
unreal.
That's amazing.
Was,
I gotta
yeah.
so to chime in on just what I'm hearing from you, and I really like what you just kind of explained there around tradition and sport. I mean, you got it sounds like Iron Man has done a really good job on tapping into the need for ritual for people, like the need for like you guys have this finish line space where there's a celebration of this effort that has happened. All these same people are putting that sacrifice out there. Boom, one after another with the huge celebration. You've got the voice of it that's there that kind of like celebrates it along with them. And then on top of that, you have your cultural significance coming in like around it, and like almost like the country's celebrating that alongside of it. That sounds like a really amazing moment that you had there.
It was amazing. There's actually a video up on Facebook of that moment, and it was just phenomenal. And there was something cool though that I was like, wow, Nathan, maybe I should get this for you for a Christmas present or something. But I got to the finish line because I was commentating out at the bike kind of area. So I was on this huge metal tower thing. It was crazy, but it was awesome. I got to the finish line to watch Mike do his, last bit. He had a custom made gold microphone.
What?
Like, I looked at that thing, I was like, Nathan needs to get something like that. Just sit here with this like blinged out mic. It was
like
amazing.
This one, I mean, this is the original. This is the original when we first upgraded to actually be like, professional. Had like an audio guy come over and teach me a ton of audio stuff before I knew anything really. And this was, so maybe this is like on its last leg, or we could pass it down to my son, or I don't know. We'll see.
Yes.
We need the gold microphone.
And what about you? Oh, and then I've been sick. So I literally haven't done any. I got on Zwift last night for the first time and rode. This is kind of embarrassing. This is how bad it was. First I got on and couldn't keep up with the C pace partner.
Whoa.
I was like, oh, I'm not feeling
That's
good.
sick. That's real deal sick.
But then someone came on my stream and was like, you might want to check your bike. And I looked, I was like, oh my God, I'm still on my TT bike from like last week's ZRL TTT. I was like, oh, that's really newbie. And then I was like, obviously I'm not feeling good. So I put a roadie on and then just joined up with the D group. And I even got dropped from the D group.
You got dropped from the, whoa.
Oh, I was just like,
yeah, there's a virus in there. That's when you know that the mitochondria are doing other things than what is needed to produce energy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's me. So that's a journey back I'm going to have. But Nathan, how about you? How's your week been?
I have been taking it easy, except for the Zwift Racing League. And you didn't even do the insanity that was this past Tuesday. There's a lot of, quick little off the script just a little bit here, but there was actually some posts in the Zwift Racing League Facebook group that were really interesting to me from the D category. And I can actually agree. I actually agree on this point. And also there's some power-ups discussion, and I also agree on that point as well, but those are a little bit bunny trail. But yeah, shout out to the Ds that finished. Good job. Shout out to everybody that finished, but that is a long day in the saddle, I think. And it harkened me back also to people who raced Citizen, or what we call the Cat 5, Cat 4 in the mountain bike world. We called it Citizen here locally. And there were like lifers there that were like the lifeblood of our series though, who always just raced a 40-minute race, and they knew they did 2 laps. They came out for the community. They got their workout in, but that was their racing was always going to be a Citizen, maybe get upgraded to sport and do 3 laps, right? And it made me really think about that whole idea of there is a need for that space, because not everybody wants to be a 2-hour hero. Like, we have people who just want to get their 40-minute workout in and do it with a racing environment. I think we did kind of, so I want to give shout outs to the Ds that completed that, and also to those that just said, forget this. totally understand, actually.
Yeah, it was unfortunately, I was literally sitting in hospital with my son. I thought I was going to make it home in time, but we didn't get discharged till too late.
Were you gonna
Um,
race? Were you actually gonna race?
I wasn't because I was sick.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was just gonna roll around to get finish line
Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because we didn't have enough. Um, but yeah, I saw those comments too from the D riders, and I'm always really cognizant of the fact I'm not a D rider, so I don't want to give this opinion without any perspective from being in there. Although I have been a D rider when I've been pregnant, I rode in DCAT, then I worked my way to C, then B, then back to A. So I have had experience in there, and yeah, like it's hard because yeah, I think ZRL maybe just needs to. I get what they're doing with that last race being like a real challenge, but it's actually for me. I actually had to have my husband, if I was going to race, stay home and work from home because I couldn't get to school pickup in time because the race was just that little bit too long. So there is something to be said too about almost that kind of keeping it to that hour. I know that's speaking from me, so I don't want the whole ZRL community.
Consistency. You need something that's
Yeah,
consistent across the times. So
yeah,
because that's the
you've booked
expectation
it
that's kind of
in.
been set around
Yeah,
people's schedules. Yeah. See, I didn't even
yeah.
think of
So
that
that's what
part
I'm
because as
making.
an A
Yeah,
racer, I'm just like, let's go. I just want it. I love
yeah.
it. Like I want that. But there's a whole nother thing you're bringing in there, not just from an effort and not even effort. I don't want to use that word, but from a experience and ability to take fatigue for longer periods of time. That's the way I'll put that
Mhm.
perspective
And the
of an
other
A racer.
thing, yeah, the other thing is if you get dropped, I mean, that could easily add another 10 minutes, even if you're an A racer. So if you got dropped off that main group and you're just rolling around that course now, that adds significant time. And like it kind of it did decimate our team a little bit because people just couldn't like they couldn't commit. I know it's only like 10 15 minutes more, but like you said, when you've built it into a schedule, and especially people who are doing it in like lunch breaks, or like before work, you do have to kind of add on that extra time. So yeah, I'm kind of in two minds. I love the challenge. I actually was looking forward to the course the most out of all of them. That's why I, had organized my husband to be at home. But I think, yeah, maybe just let's keep just a little consistency on the timing there. Like you always know it's going to be between, I don't know, 45 minutes and max maybe like an hour 10.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd agree there. Only with this consistent series that has almost that expectation around so many people having to do the same time frame over and over again. Totally different story if you're signing up for
Flam Rouge.
something, yeah, Flam Rouge or whatever. This isn't like across all of Zwift. I think just in this niche, you have a consistency across the series that's such a big series that has so many participants that everybody has to organize in a way that consistency on time frame is super, super important, it sounds like.
Yeah, I kind of think that. And I kind of think that with almost every race series. Like if you, I mean, maybe we can ask Eric when he comes on, but a few of the tiny series, and so, in your back of your mind, yeah, it takes about, it's an hour. Every race is on the 15 minutes. And then you turn up and you're like, what? The last race is 20 kilometers? Oh, like, okay. A lot of people Zwift because it fits into their life. So a lot of people are really buttressing up their race with another commitment. So yeah, I guess that would be my only feedback. Although, like, I guess you can make it work because you get huge like notice of when these races are.
Yeah,
So
true. True.
I'm
That's true too. That
really,
is true
yeah,
too. You do get big notice. It's not like you don't know. It just might discourage people from actually signing up though. That's the thing.
yeah.
From a participation point of view, I think there's a reason why you do get good participation in that citizen sport, Cat 4, Cat 5, Cat 3, when you have that consistency around the time frames of what they can handle as well. That was my main point there, but there's a great point about the consistency for scheduling as well. For me, though, on a positive note, I absolutely loved that race. I actually had the highlight for the race actually for me was seeing and communicating actually, and I'm such a nerd when it comes to Zwift craft. I just love that there's actually Zwift craft that you can race tactically, that you can work with teammates in ways that use the draft as best as you possibly can. In that situation going into Libby Hill, one of my teammates said, all right, Nathan, we went all the way to the back. We were going for FTS. And we did the, you know, from the back of the pack all the way to the front and try and take both FAL and FTS. And he said, get on my wheel. I grabbed his wheel right at the bottom of Libby, and he went from the back of the pack, almost like I don't know, 85, 90% full gas. I jumped on his wheel, and I'm only doing 75% maybe, because we're just cruising through the pack, and I'm essentially getting his draft as if it's a gigantic pack. He leads us all the way into the 2-second climbs into the cobbles. Boom, hit my feather. And he actually backed off a little bit at one point, and I had more to give. And I was like, no, because I ended up with like a 58-second Libby Hill and FTS and FAL in the first one.
Oh.
But then I was like, I think my race is over. I was like, oh my, like, I was like, uh-oh, because I was hurting so bad. I got over the top of 23rd. I just barely made covers, and then I was able to recover the rest of the race and then still be involved. But I was seriously wondering if I was like going to be shot out. I was like, this might be over. But anyways, the highlight for me was definitely that course really lends to, in my opinion, if you're able to communicate well and know your Zwift craft, you can set things up pretty well on that course with your teammates to make attacks, get breakaways to go. It's just a very tactical course.
Yeah, I used to hate Richmond. Like, I'd never go there. And now for racing, like, I love it. I think it's so good. I think because we had it in Grand Prix one time, and I always struggled on 23rd Street. I could never get over the gear, and I just sort of always mucked it up a bit. And then I had James Barnes actually watch me do a recon, and he was giving me tips along the way with both Libby and 23rd. And you know when you know a course now, and you just know, if I go right there, I will likely get to the top of that climb first. If I go right there, I will get, like, you just have dialed it in. Like, that's what I love about that course, is I'm like, yeah, it's once you get there, you've just got this edge on everyone else. So it's quite fun. And I'm seeing in the chat as well, people did actually like the course. I absolutely agree. I mean, I think if we give a shout out to Martin and the crew at ZRL, like, I am loving these seasons. Like, they're just, or the rounds, they're just awesome. This round for Riot was a bit of a shit show, to be fair. But it was, I do like the courses. I do like that last one is a little bit challenging. And you kind of look at it and go, oh my gosh. I thought there was a good mix of sprinting in there. There weren't the really long climbs, which I think you don't need in this kind of race. So I did like the mix up. I'm excited to see, because Martin has hinted at it, about a bit of a sort of rejig of the points, which I think will be awesome to freshen it up going into the last round. And I know our team is super pumped. I sent the Instagram of Kristen Kulczynski sipping her champagne and basking in her victory to our team chat, and I was like, if this doesn't motivate you, then come on, let's go.
They seem like they have a lot of fun. They seem like they have a lot of fun, that team.
It's good.
With 2024, I really enjoyed that. And it also motivated me to go, there's a pretty intense rivalry building here. I messaged you about that, and I was like, we might need to hype this one up a little bit. Like, the Riot, is Obscure Finesse in there with you as well, I think, right? AF is in there, or no?
Obscure Finesse, OTR, Egawatt.
Yeah, that's a really, really competitive scene.
Yeah, so it's all on. Like, as soon as I get over the sickness, man, I've got my like mojo back to just slam some workouts and I'm not getting beaten again. So 2024, if anyone is listening,
clip it. I'm not getting beaten again. Oh boy, VBR 2024 is going to hear that one. Watch out though. AF, Egawatt. I mean, there's some OTR. They're all listening too. So we'll see what ends up happening this next season. We're hyping America's East. That's for sure. The women's field. We'll see how that ends up playing out. All right. Next up, Zwift Academy Finals. 2 episodes have launched on GCN. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Liz Van Houweling. Man, like, I was so excited to see her. And if you don't know, Liz, on her way over, probably on the plane, got COVID, and then couldn't participate. Might have been stuck. I don't know, was she stuck over there then? So that, just shout out to her, that, what a tough break because she is one of the community members here that we've watched come up through Zwift racing, and it's been amazing to see her, and obviously riding with you guys as well. Anna, I think I don't know, you might have more information there on that side of things too, but it just sucks for Liz.
Yeah, I kind of had an inkling something had happened because on one of our GP races, I could just tell, you can tell in the tone of a voice. And she was embargoed. She couldn't talk about it at all. But I was like, oh, I hope, you had a good experience. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, that,
Ooh.
you can just pick up, like, yeah, I don't think things went well. And then when Zwift started releasing a few of the promo stuff, I was like, Liz is obviously not on that promo stuff. So I got a kind of inkling, and I messaged her and was like, hey, I hope you're all good. That really sucks. And she said she's in a much better mental space now, which was awesome. And I think, like, I don't know, I'm always of the belief sometimes that things do happen for a reason. And all I could probably say is watch out, anyone racing worlds, because she has got a fire in her belly, man. Like, you can either have that kind of thing go two ways. You can either go, I'm completely demotivated and this sucks and woe be me. And I don't think Liz has taken that route. I think she's like, okay, that sucks, but I've got some pretty big races coming up in the esports space and let's get it on.
100%. That's the kind of attitude that Liz has for sure. So shout out to her. I think we can tell she's already on a good road to recovery. I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like she's in a good mental space for sure. So thoughts so far besides that though, Anna, where are you at on the episode? Like, what's your general feeling about how GCN are covering this? It feels like this, they've even taken another step to reality show. Like, I feel like we have this very, I feel like I'm watching one of these like Survivor episodes is what it seems like to me.
I love it. And I love how they're weaving in, like, how you get on an indoor trainer and how you get out cycling and what the benefit is. Because I hope that just brings in people from the GCN audience who aren't used to this. But I mean, I love it. Oh my gosh. I just think watching people doing like what looks like a ZADA test next to your competition, like the psychology of that, right? You're just sitting there. You can see their eyes darting over to the computer next to them. Like, and you can, it's the tension is palpable.
There's so much tension.
Awesome.
There's so much. It almost makes me, okay, there's a part of me that doesn't like it because I'm so uncomfortable with like, oh my gosh. Like, and there is a part of cycling that I feel like, I don't know if cycling like attracts more avoidant personalities or something. Like, they're just very individualistic in some ways. And I'm just like, I don't feel like it has a cycling cult. Like, I don't know if the survival thing has a cycling culture mixed to it that well. And I feel like people are like, but then you get over that and it's like, whoa, this is really cool how they're just throwing this all together. And it's kind of like, it's got that mixture of like, it feels super real, but at the same time, it feels a little bit like a show that's contrived. You know what I mean? Like, it has a little bit of both in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like they're trying to play both of those. Does that make sense, Anna?
Absolutely. And I think you can't gloss over the awkwardness that is there. Like, I think it was when Manon, the GCN presenter, came and she's like, so are you all friends now? And there's like, I'm like, no. They are not making friends here. Like, this ain't happening. And
that's the thing. And Sai and Men are good about calling it out. They're good about just being cool with it.
Yeah, and I think, like, okay, if I go like early picks on it, gosh, I'm not going to remember all their names, but I think is it Luca or something? One of the guys.
Luca, yeah.
Is it Luca? He seems to be going pretty well, but it's not actually his performance results that makes me think that. It's when there was a shot of him having this conversation with Mathieu van der Poel on the bike, and I was like, that is more likely to get them in the team, I think, than amazing results. Like, their results have to be great, but that gelling with Mathieu van der Poel and with other members of Alpecin, I think, is like the crucial part. I think that's what kind of got the guy here last year, the flying mullet guy, to get into the team. So that's kind of, I think that's him.
Guy. Oh my gosh.
I'm not good with names. And then on the women's side, I mean, my heart goes with Elena because she just seems so lovely, and I race with her a lot, and I don't know, there's always a little soft spot there. But I actually think that rider Chiara. Gosh, I'm
Yeah,
bad with
yeah,
names.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Tiara
Um,
Donnie. Yep, she's also Italian.
yeah, yes. Seems yeah, like age is not on her side, but she front footed that straight away by saying like Annemiek van Vleuten just won, all major stage races this year, and she's 41, I think. So, yeah, she seems head and shoulders above the others right now.
Yeah, the only thing Nelly
Mm,
has it seems like is a real quick startup though to the whole world. I think of racing. I think it's Nelly. Alex and Nelly look so similar on the bike though, and I can't always get the difference between the two there sometimes. Just when I'm watching them in their results and what they're doing, I'm like which. But one of them, I believe it might have been Alex, it may have been Nelly, one of the two. One, she was running and then started riding and then won her first outdoor race. There's a little bit of I agree with you on Donnie being like the standout is performance, but what the women's team might be looking for is a development rider that also has a lot of potential long term, and somebody who's just a startup, won their first race. I don't know. There's a couple of other factors. I think on the women's side, things are between a few of them a little bit more up in the air. On the men's side, there's two riders. I would definitely say Luca is a favorite from what
mm.
it looks like to me at this point. But watch out for Jasper and Cooper. I mean, Cooper being a return, and
Oh.
and Jasper maybe having a rough start. It looks like to me a little bit, but it really
So I
interesting.
feel, yeah, because I commentate for Australia Cycling or produce and commentate some of their race series. I've seen Cooper racing a lot, and um, oh, I already feel heartbroken for him because I feel like he's returned. He seems like he has dedicated the last year to getting here and getting in. Like, he said it straight off at the start, I'm here to win. Like I'm here. I've come back again. I want that win. And I'm like, this it's not last year. So there's these other guys who have turned up, and I'm like, oh man, I just you desperately want them to make it because you see how much effort he's putting in and how much time he has dedicated and how much sacrifice. But it's not a game of chance here, but I mean he's up against four other riders who I just think a couple of them are edging him out right now. But we're only at
Yeah,
episode
and
2, so
Luca, we watched him in ZGP and in Zwift Grand Prix. We've watched him in a lot of different situations where he just walked away on Zwift, and now he's going in real life and
mm,
proving he's got it there as well. I mean, the guy obviously has an engine, and I think you're 100% right. Also, not just in his gelling with the team, but also that kind of like, oh yeah, it was good. Like, remember at the top of the
yeah,
climb, he was like, oh yeah, yeah, and he looked
I
fresh.
had
I
a
was
lot
like,
more to give.
ooh,
Oh,
yeah. I was like, okay, that's and you can see it in the countenance. Like I was thinking, some of the communication here is not what you say. It's in your result as well, but then also the countenance of like how you hold yourself after that shows how much pressure you're actually under physically, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So yeah, definitely on the watch out for him. On the women's side, a little bit more up in the air for sure. Well, okay, let's get right into our guest. That's the so much for all of our chat up front here about the things that are happening in the last week, racing, etc. But every month, as I say, we do have an update that usually drops from Zwift, and we have Eric Schlange from Zwift Insider coming on in with his buddy Scotty the Squirrel next to him. He's our new perma guest, Scotty the Squirrel there next to other way. There you go. Yeah, it's
There it
opposite.
is.
It's opposite all the time. Eric, welcome
Very
to the
confusing.
program. How you doing?
I am doing well. Got a nice long Zwift session in the day. Lost another race. It's a typical Zwift day for me.
Lost another race. Are
At
you like?
least
Do
you
you have
didn't
like a
get
tally? Do you have a tally that you're keeping?
Yeah, yeah. I let Zwift Power do the heavy lifting, but it's definitely in the high hundreds.
Look, Eric, at least you didn't get dropped by the D pace partner, okay? So you're a step above me at
Yeah,
the
I
moment.
was listening to that. That's rough.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, let's chat the Zwift updates and new roads. You obviously have done a great job, as usual, Eric, covering all this. All the content that we are going to talk about here can also be found over on Zwift Insider in written format as well. But the updates, Eric, do you want to just run us through just real quick, like top to bottom, just like bullet point, like what the updates have been a little bit, and then we'll dive into them one by one. The important ones, at least, that we've pulled out bullet pointed here.
Sure. I'd say the biggest update is Zwift announced that they're going to be releasing a Scotland map, which is where the esports worlds are going to be hosted in February. So that's the first one and the biggest one. They announced personalized leaderboards are coming to the companion app. They announced an update to Holo Replay, where you'll be able to replay any route in Zwift and not just the KOM and sprint segments and kind of one route per world, which is how it functions right now. So all routes. And then there's the Zwift for You row that they're going to be bringing to the home screen, which is kind of like a customized recommendation list of activities. I think those are probably the big ones. There's a couple more that are kind of minor that have already released, but yeah, those are the big ones I'd say.
100%. Well, okay, so we'll take Scotland last, I think, because
I was all
you want to talk
prepped
about
for
Scotland right away? Okay, fine. We can go Scotland first. We'll go Scotland
that.
first.
So my maiden name, tangent here, is Ross. And so we have a tartan. So we have like a Ross family tartan. So when I saw Scotland, I was like, yes, this is unbelievable. I love it. And I've seen the chat coming in pretty early on being like, we've got to have a kilt as a kit unlock, right?
It does feel right.
Oh. So, I mean, they've kind of teased it a little bit, and I kind of want you to expand on it a little, Eric, if you can. It seems to be, they've kind of mentioned that it's for racing and fast riding. And it's got some sort of exciting things in there that'll make racing great. So what are your thoughts on what could that be?
Well, one of the things they mentioned is a loopable hill climb, which they're going to be using in the finals. And I think the idea is that maybe based on the number of laps that you define for your race, you kind of go to the hill and then ride, 5 laps up and down, sort of a thing. And then I think it finishes at the top would probably be the way it would work. So that's
Okay.
different. That doesn't exist in Zwift. That's sort of a course. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure. I know just based on the route profiles that they shared for Worlds, which kind of there's 3 races. Worlds is made up of 3 races, and each of those races is on a different route in Scotland. So you can kind of see the profile of each of those 3 routes in there, and they are super lumpy. It's like there's nothing flat in Scotland as far as I can tell. So there's that.
Are we thinking are we thinking like a Yorkshire kind of lumpy? You look at the gradients of Yorkshire where it just goes like that. Is it similar?
It kind of seems like it. Yeah, I don't know if they're even steeper than that or not. The numbers, I tried to do some math with the elevation numbers on the route profile. You can actually see them there. But they didn't match up to like the total elevation that they show in the summary of the race. So I didn't put those on my post. I don't know if those are, I'm not sure how they got the numbers and which ones are wrong, but something's wrong in in those numbers.
Okay.
But yeah, they're as you can see, there's nothing flat.
For those listening on the podcast, you can also find each one of these profiles over on Zwift Insider in their release, Eric's release on this, each one of these courses. But interesting, the profiles. One of our conversations, Eric, I think that we were in with the meeting as well, was talking about how this world kind of fills in maybe something that is missing in Zwift when it comes to distance of a lap or a course alongside of the kind of elevation in it, that there's this kind of missing course that has the right amount of length to it, as well as the right amount of elevation gain in certain areas, and then as well as descents that would allow riders to kind of take advantage of that for better breakaway or at least pressure situations.
Yeah, that race number 3 is a 3 kilometer loop, and it's kind of like maybe a little bit analogous to Crit City, but it's a longer, hillier Crit City. So it's some sort of a circuit that's just up and down kind of the entire time, and it's longer because Crit City is 2K long, and this one's 3K. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, like a super punchy crit course is what it amounts to.
Yeah, I like that because on Crit City there is a need just for a little bit more punch in there, a little bit longer as well, and I do see that here where there'll be an ability maybe to extend out the attacks a little bit more. I mean, in World Championships it'll be crazy with number of starters with one world champion as well, and not a large pack, so that'll be really interesting. Yeah, and so essentially you have the punch, the climb, and the podium when it comes to these 3 courses. Now, that's not what they're going to be actually called, I don't believe, in game. But that is what they are called for the race for the UCI World Championships. So the New World Scotland. It also, what I'm also excited about is another world that's really beautiful. I wonder if they're heading that way though, because it's is this an event focused place versus like whenever I go New Worlds, and then I had this experience with Urukazi, and I was like, wow, this is some of the most beautiful Zwift worlds I've been, this is my favorite place to ride from an experience point of view, and maybe racing right now. I kind of really like Urukazi, maybe just because it's new roads and try something new. But I wonder if they're going to beautify it as much, or is it going to be more about just event spaces and it's not going to be quite as much focus?
It's hard to say. It does seem like every release that Zwift has done in the last few years, every one gets more beautiful and more detailed. So I'd like to think that they're just kind of raising the standard and they're going to keep it high.
There is,
but at the same time, it is really an event focused world. So
yeah,
maybe they won't put time in.
I was thinking as well, Eric, considering it's worlds and there'll be a lot of riders there, and they'll obviously be broadcasting it live. And we saw what happened when people were riding around Neokyo with a huge group of people. Would they want to limit sort of impact on people's computers and maybe keep it like a touch simpler just to reduce that risk of overloading in a world situation with little bugs happening? I don't know. Do you think that could be a thing as well?
It's possible. I mean, there's only, is it 100 riders, 100 men and 100 women? Yeah, for each. So yeah, it's possible that's been a consideration. I'm not entirely sure. I think if you're Zwift racing at that level, you shouldn't be on a potato. That'd be my recommendation.
Well,
but Zwift also it's worth noting. I think that Zwift has. John Mayfield was just telling us this. I think Nathan, you were on that call recently where he was talking about how they've figured out ways to optimize complex worlds, and you can see that in Urukazi where he said it actually has more detail in it than Neokyo does, but it runs better than Neokyo does. So hopefully they'll take those learnings over to Scotland.
Question. This is a bit out of left field, but I was thinking about it the other day. So they've released, you've got all these world's UCI courses, the Richmonds and the Innsbrucks and this one, Scotland. I'm missing one. What am I missing?
Yorkshire.
So do you think there's a ability in the future, or would it even be a good idea to just create a UCI world and there's just tunnels that connect each of these to each other? So it makes it, you could actually just do long rides around there as well. Or are they always going to keep, do you think, and is it better just keep these very event specific? Because I don't know anyone who would go, ride around Richmond for just the pleasure of it. It does seem to be more of an event-based course.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it happening. I'll say that. I just don't think that's something that Zwift is going to prioritize. Would I prefer that? Yeah, I think basically all cyclists would prefer, if you have the choice between riding in Richmond or riding in a world that has Richmond, Yorkshire, Innsbruck, and Scotland.
There should be like a world's world. There should be a world's world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all want bigger worlds where there's more roads that we can, and we have more options.
That'd be amazing, actually. That's a great, like,
Yeah.
come on.
It would be fun. I mean,
A world's
imagine the
world.
course options that you could have.
Oh,
And you like
But
drop into
phenomenal.
are they
to
going to
like
do
an
it?
area that's got pens or whatever, or like an area that's like, now select which world you go to, and then like you go off into whichever one you're gonna go. That'd be pretty. It would make it more exciting to go ride that because you get an
Yeah.
entrance into it with like, you know, great partnership maybe with the UCI. Who knows? But like,
Well, could you imagine that like UCI, group rides where they're like experience all our world's courses, go ride them. And then obviously us as racers would be like, well, imagine doing a race where you do like a key feature on every world's course, right?
there you go. Heck yeah. I do think
Yeah.
though that these worlds are going to stay partnership with worlds specific. I don't think there'll be much add on to them. I think the whole reason that they're made is to try and replicate something from in real life and attach to that location geographically as well as the event. So I don't see there any add on, but I think what you guys just keyed into is that, well, at least you could use what is there in some sort of connected way for more content meaning, I think.
Yeah, if there was some way you could connect rides and go between them, that would be cool. I do wonder if there's if there's language in a contract with the UCI where they're saying, no, these need to be standalone. We want to highlight the particular host cities, if that would be an issue at all. I don't know. I don't know, but it's definitely been suggested and requested by Zwifters for a long time. Let's have bigger worlds. Let's not have a lot of small ones.
Yes.
All right, next up. All right, this one, for some reason, this one really keyed in for me. Personalized leaderboards.
Oh.
Like, what is this all about? Help me out here,
It's
Eric,
great.
because I was like, okay, this seems really cool. I have a little bit of a calm down here, okay? But I gotta bring it. I gotta bring it. Focusing development on the Zwift companion app bothers me like nothing else. Okay? Like seriously, like I want my game to be all in one. Like, and fine, if there's a little add-on thing that if I want to do it, cool. But why are we focusing? And then I go, is there a coding problem here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's easier? So then we're just going to throw it at the companion app? Like, I'm kind of like, really about that. I don't know about how you guys feel about that, but yes, if I want to use your app that goes along with the game that I'm paying for, I'm not, well, anyways, but like,
Oh.
well,
1%er.
Oh, wow.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense, everybody?
I do, but I disagree.
Really? Okay.
So, yeah. So straight after,
I don't
like, if
disagree
do a
because
race-
Micah next to me disagrees with you though, and so does most of the teenagers and kids who might get on, and other people who don't have. Anyways, go on.
No, but this is, I don't know. So I'm not a gamer, so I don't know that side of it. But for me, I know if I've done a race and I feel like I've done a really good race, the first step after the race is I go onto Strava and I go check how fast did I do it? What was my power? What was my power last time? When did I last do that? Or I go onto my training peaks and look at my peak data and go, oh, my 5-minute power was the best I've ever done on that part, So I think
that all can be done. That's a third party thing, not third party, but like,
yeah. So now I like that it's in Companion because I got Companion open anyway.
Yeah,
I can go in and go, oh, this is cool. And to be honest, I wasn't a big user of Companion until I recently did like Flamme Rouge with the Fearless crew. And oh my gosh, after every ride, people were commenting on the rides in Companion app. So I was like, oh, people are actually really using this more so than I obviously do. Because I have my PC open. I don't use Companion for anything while I'm riding. But having this available afterwards, and actually I got more involved in like commenting on people's rides on Companion apps. I was like, there are a lot of people who do use this.
I'm fine. I agree with you 100% on that front as far as go and use this app, go and use this app. I'm talking about my game experience. I'm talking about like while I'm riding on Zwift, like that. This
I don't do it during.
Okay, that's my point.
That's
my whole point. My whole point is totally separate from having an app to go. I'm cool with development around an app for like after, before, even you want to use it during, cool. But the whole game experience should be complete with every feature that's in the app that would be needed in any way during your game experience should be fully functional also in the game is what I'm getting at.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Calm
But
down.
I think that I think the leaderboards as they function now in the game are functional about the level of functionality I would want, right? Like I don't want to go and drill down and go, oh, what did I do 3 years ago while I'm riding on Zwift? Like showing the last 90 days is fine with me. Showing live data, like that's all I want to see when I'm in game. And then what I want to see in the companion app is the historic view of it. We never did describe what the leaderboards are.
Yeah. Okay, done with the calm down. No, that's the calm down moment. Carissa didn't bring it this week. Sorry, Carissa. But anyways, here's the leaderboards. You can also find all of this again over at Zwift Insider's release on this for those that are listening on a podcast, but we do have images up on the live stream. Go ahead, Eric. Tell us about this.
So leaderboards are a way you can browse your historic data for segments and for routes for the time it took you to complete them. So right now it's launching with just your own personal data. So it'll show basically, and it's your entire lifetime of Zwift, which actually surprised me that it's not just, oh, they started recording it 3 months ago or something, but it's your entire Zwift lifetime, all the times you've set on every segment, every route. Supposedly, that's what they're saying, is going to be accessible through here. One kind of interesting note, Nathan, if you could go back to the previous slide, that guy, look at the name on the top of the
William Pauly. I noticed that ZHQ Rebels. Yeah,
he's a longtime Zwift employee. He designed a lot of the original UX stuff that we see, like what we think of as distinctive Zwift style from early days. That's William Pauly, and he's still around. He's a pretty cool guy. I chatted with him off and on. He's done a lot of work with companion app stuff too. I think even the leaderboards. I think the leaderboards are actually kind of developed, maybe mocked up by him like years ago. Like they were actually a thing that was looked at years ago and kind of sidelined, and then they've come back kind of with the regime change that's happened in Zwift. They reprioritized them. I'm sure Bill's happy to see that.
Yeah, I love those.
This is super cool. I do really like the leaderboards here. I like the look too. I think that they did a really good job with the look of it.
The other thing I think worth mentioning with leaderboards is this is just the start, but what I envision happening is you're going to be able to see other people's data.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They said that. Yeah.
What I think would be super cool is for there to be like inter-club competitions with leaderboards. Right now, there's a lot that clubs don't do. Like I've got the biggest club on Zwift, and I'm like, what do I do with my
club?
Flexing
that's going on today? Holy cow, man!
No. But it's like a useless flex, right? Like you got the biggest club on Zwift. Like what does that do? What does that do for you? It really doesn't do much of anything for me at this point. But if you had some sort of cool leaderboard competition where you showed the top clubs, I mean, I think that'd be super cool, and I think that'll come. All the data's there. They just need to decide how they're going to present it.
Yeah, I think from what I saw, there's just I guess there's privacy of data, which is a thing that
yeah, there's some privacy concerns. I'm sure.
So yeah, but I love this. I can see myself using this every time after a ride, or mostly a race when I want to go check out a leaderboard. So I probably will cancel my Strava subscription because that's the only reason I use Strava. So yeah, no, I love it. It's great.
Next up, Halo Replay. Now we've had Halo Replay, but it's changing. Well, it's going to stay the same as it is, but there's adding a new feature to it. It sounds like, what do you talk about? It sounds like we're going to be able to do not just the segments, but entire routes now.
Yeah, so you could already do entire routes, but it was very particular routes. The whatever route gave you an orange jersey on in a particular world, those are hollow replayable, and they already are. So like the hilly route in Watopia, you can earn a orange jersey if you're the fastest person. That one is hollow replayable right now. But that's just very few routes. There's like maybe 8 of them or something. I have a list somewhere. But yeah, now every route on Zwift is going to be replayable, which in my count, let's see, I counted it 168 rideable routes is I think how many there are total. So it's a lot of routes, a lot of possibilities.
So I had a
Sounds
question, Eric, that came through from the chat, which was, is there an option, do you think, to toggle this on and off? Because people, and rightly so, like kind of they may want to see their sprint and KOM replays come up because that's where you want to kind of race yourself. But sometimes you're just sort of out riding and you don't really want your partner with you the entire time, right? So
Yeah.
your partner in game.
Are we talking about real life?
Make
I
that
mean
clear.
that
Sorry.
works that works either way. Like, hey, I need some space. Come on.
Exactly.
I'm an
You're gonna see me.
individual.
I'm gonna
We need-
lose it
there-
on
there
my
needs to
Twitch
be a-
streams now.
I'm not attached at the hip hollow replay. Come on,
Go
give me a
away.
little
Personal space
space.
Leave me alone.
Activate
Yes.
bubble button.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Well, I mean, there's a setting in the main menu in game where you can turn it on and off. I think if you toggle it while your hollow replay is visible, it doesn't do anything because they've already spawned it and it's like it's playing, so it's already too late at that point. I think what you're suggesting is more like a shortcut that just makes it invisible right away, which I would agree
Well,
with.
I think-
I think that'd be really nice to have one
Oh,
that
I
just,
see what you're
like-
saying. Gotcha.
like if I hit L, it any of my hollows that are on screen right now disappear. I think that'd be cool, and it shouldn't be hard. That shouldn't be a tough thing for
Yeah.
Zwift to implement, just to hide
Yeah,
my hollow
I'd say
replays.
that, and also having the toggle option of I just want to see my segment hollows today.
Yeah,
not
just
my,
another option.
Yeah,
So
not
just
my
toggle
route
with L,
ones.
toggle with L. I'm losing to my hollow replays. Lost. It's not a W, it's an
There you
L.
go. When you're losing, hit the L. Yeah,
Yeah. See you later.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. Maybe they'll add an option like that. Who knows? I have a lot of keyboard shortcuts. I wish that they would implement.
What's this Zwift for you thing? Like Zwift for you. And did you see Llama? Oh my gosh. In his latest video, and GP Llama, if you haven't checked it out, I made a little cameo with my old mixer hat and like anyways, go check it out because he did the whole updates as
awesome.
well, and it was kind of funny. Anyways, I'm not gonna go any further into that, but Zwift
Okay,
for
I gotta
you.
go
What this it's kind of like it does feel super like I don't know, like I'm being sold a commercial that's very general
Yeah.
public. Zwift for you, like I don't know. It has that
It's
feel.
for everyone. Yeah. Well, what it is it's a new row that they're adding to the home screen, and they're supposed to start rolling it out this month. But it's a new row that is customized to your history, basically. So it'll probably have like the most recent pace partner or the pace partner that you ride with the most. Maybe the next planned workout if you're in a training program. Just stuff based on your ride histories. Maybe a route type, maybe your most common route that you ride. I don't know. There's a lot of options. It actually reminds me of all the hubbub lately about the GPT AI stuff that's been going out. And it really what this is it's Zwift trying to be artificially intelligent, right? It's Zwift trying to recommend to you what they think that you're going to want and make it easy for you to find it. And there is a lot of power in that. Like Zwift, think of the old home screen compared to the new one. The old home screen was terrible at presenting events. New home screen, events are front and center. And because of that, the engagement numbers that Zwift has shared with us about events versus free rides, people are riding way more events. And that's because
it's actually
the home
crazy
screen
the numbers.
brings
It's
them forward.
actually like
Yeah, it's
I was really
super
like
significant.
I was actually really blown away how I can't remember what they were, but the numbers are just way up
Yeah.
in participation. This obviously works then, and I I don't even remember the old home screen. It must have been like such a bad experience that like I
It
can't
wasn't
even
great.
remember. Like
Yeah.
this is actually way better. Way better.
So what Zwift has proven is what they put front and center. It will get a lot more engagement from people. So now Zwift's job is to put things that are valuable to you front and center, and that's not an easy ask. But I think there's so much potential there. Like we've talked about, even like AI coaching. Like, hey, what if I could state my goals to Zwift, and then they would recommend my next workout, and it's just there on my 2U thing. Like there's a huge world out there of AI based stuff that Zwift hasn't really tapped into at all, and this is kind of the start of it. I wouldn't quite call it AI, but it's kind of pretending to be.
Okay, and then two more things real quickly. I'm just going to throw them in here, but the Discord chat integration for clubs. This is a little bit like some people have some strong opinions about this as far as like other platforms have voice integration already in. A lot of games have voice integration already in them. But there's now ability to integrate your Discord with a link that is in your club so that people can easily go and find Discord because it's so widely used. First of all, what's Discord, Eric? I mean, maybe there's people out there that don't even know.
Discord, it's a lot of things. It can just be like a text chat app, which a lot of Zwift teams use it just as a central place for a team to chat, like a message board. But in game, what Zwifters use it for is in like team races, like ZRL, is they'll use it for a voice chat. So your 6 team members are all in the same place, and you're chatting back and forth with voice, and it does a great job with that. It's huge in the gaming world, right? Like it's what gamers use when they're in a team doing the same thing.
Well, if you're friends with people, you use the Discord chat. If you just want to rage on each other, you use the in-game chat. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. You get into an Overwatch game. If you get into an Overwatch game, and you're with friends, they're like, let's use the Discord. If you get in with just randos, you're just gonna hear about things you don't want to hear about. So. Anyways, go ahead.
I see this as this is for me personally with say my own racing and stuff. I'm kind of like whatever. It's not actually changing much, but I am actually dragging our old school tri club coach into the virtual world, heading into for our spin classes, which we do on Tuesday and Thursday nights. And one of them now is going to be taking place on Zwift. I've created a club, and this is hugely valuable because I'm taking people who, some of them are in their 80s and are like, what's Zwift first? What is Discord? What is, and it just takes a little bit of that barrier away where there's just a link and I can be like, hey, there's that event that I've just sent you and you'll see in there a link, just click that, and make sure that you're on. So I like the reduction of the barrier here, that extra step of, because over the pandemic time where we had some of our club sessions online, honestly, to like explain to someone what Discord was and how to get on and do push to talk and not have people heavy breathing for the entire time and little things like that. It was a struggle, man. Like we almost just gave away Discord, but I think this will help quite a bit. So I like this. It seems to be just a small little tweak, but it will make a difference in that space.
I wanted to throw out my opinion on this one was the in-game integration versus using a third party. As far as a resource management, I think that this is the better move. Other platforms who might not have as many users and might not have as much overhead for that kind of integration, as well as the more people, the more stuff that's going on around one feature, the more problems, the more toxic interactions, the more is something broken that has to go get fixed. Right now, for what Zwift needs to release, an entire new customer service and fixing QA, blah, 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 around voice integration, and then all of the community mishaps that could happen around that. I mean, right now we had conversation already last week or the week before about in-game chat and that alone getting toxic. I don't know, like especially with really high-end top A type people whoo, like, I don't know. I just think that this is a really smart idea, honestly, to not put it in game.
Yeah, Nathan, I couldn't agree more. I think it was it RGT who brought in chat into the actual game, and they were like, yeah, when you get close to someone, you can chat. I was like, I couldn't think of anything worse. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like as a female, like no, like I'm not joking from a serious point of view.
You don't want RGT Tinder. RGT Tinder. You got to put a little heart. See, you can add that on, and you put a little heart next to your name, and then you know you're looking for. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but like it's like,
single and ready to
there is
mingle.
legit. Like I know it's not good. Like it would not be good. The number of people I've had to just kind of block because I'm like, just stop. Like this is not great. And just the thought of them being able to talk to me through a headpiece where this is my time to like have, I don't want anybody coming into my headpiece that I don't know. So yeah, great move on Zwift's part. I just think the other way would be, honestly, for all the female Zwifters out there, you probably put your hands up. You'd be like, shocker. It would be
so
terrible.
From a social perspective, there's that. And then on top of it, the resources to do that. And then all of the bullback. I mean, Eric, you weigh in because there's amongst the partners, there's disagreement on this. Like, and I'm like, no, this is the way to go.
Yeah, I think we would find that the vast majority of Zwifters are totally bamboozled when it comes to how to use Discord. So if you want big uptake of voice chat, it has to be in game and it has to be dead simple. From what I've seen of RGT, I think they did a good job of it. Like to your point, Anna, which I totally understand because my wife would absolutely be in the same boat you are. I'm pretty sure like RGT lets you just turn it off, which I think a lot of ladies would. They just say, I don't want voice chat, or I only want to hear from people that I'm friends with or in favorites with. So you'd have to have that option, clearly. But if I could just snap my fingers and go, there's either in-game chat or we have Discord chat, I would absolutely go the in-game way just because I love voice chat when I ride. I think it's super fun, especially on longer rides. It makes them fly past. And I would just love to see a lot more uptake of that. I think it would totally change the Zwift experience. I think I'm gonna
say anyone who can get their microphone working in a way in which we would even want in-game chat with them is going to be somebody who can figure out Discord. So like
that's like, a valid point.
I think that with a game that is like the game that we have, which is riding bicycles indoors with fans, that I think that maybe they were like, look, if we want a lot of heavy breathing and fans, we'll put it in game. If we don't, we'll give it to the people who can figure this out.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Are we clipping that part of the video? A lot of heavy breathing and fans. There's something there. Well, I think the default would have to be push to talk, right? Like the people who really know what they're doing with voice chat, they don't use push to talk, right? We've figured out how to do automatic noise canceling and stuff. That's the next level. But for the simple folks, you default it to push to talk. They have to click a keyboard button or a companion app thing to chat. And I think that'd be the solution for probably 90% of the folks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not 100% one way or the other. I lean toward the Discord right now, but and obviously that's the way that it is. So, but it would be cool. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. There's other, we'll leave it at that. All right. There's also workouts in under 30 minutes. I hear that in order to really get the point of what workouts are in under 30 minutes and that whole thing coming is you're supposed to just do them all in one go and you can do a 5 hour.
Yes.
That's the challenge. That's the real challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the new workouts in one workout.
All the new workouts in one workout. Somebody said Nathan's just going to do them all in one. And someone in the meeting was like, that's a great way to promote missing the point 100% about why we released this.
Well, some of them are really short, 16 minutes long. I think it would be great to put them all together and then call the workout one phrase: the wild iris microwave
Oh,
iris burn, whatever.
yeah.
Right?
Oh,
I'm
yes.
actually at one point I'm gonna do this. If they're under 30 minutes,
got
it's not
it.
even 5 hours. I'm totally gonna do them all in one go.
I
I'm
think that is a
literally
great
like when I'm
idea
back from
for you.
health.
Oh, come on, Eric.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it a part of the festive 500. Here we go.
Yes, let's do
Not
it.
a
All the
bad
5
idea.
workouts at once. It's great behavior we're showing, right?
It would be kind of a cool contest. It reminds me of the I can't remember the name of it offhand, but the Zwift workout where it's basically designed for you to fail. It would be kind of cool to have all those workouts in a row and just see who can get the furthest. Like, hey, you can't change your FTP. You can do them in any
I was
order
going
you
to say
want.
no bias.
But how many minutes in did you get before you failed? I don't know. That'd be
So Eric, I hear
a
that
cool
there's
challenge.
700 kilometers for the tiny races this weekend. No, just kidding.
Oh my goodness. Can we talk about how? Can we talk just for a minute about how the event management tools, which Zwift's event management staff has at their disposal, are terrible tools? And
I don't know. Can
because of
we?
that,
I don't know if I don't know. I guess
don't
you're
know.
in charge now.
I think maybe that
Anyway.
sounds like a good pod topic. Event management. Maybe we'll get James back on.
Event management. We get all of the event managers on to talk together about the event management.
Round table. Event
my
management
God.
round table.
Oh, man. All right. Well,
So
I
I
just
was-
wanted that's a segue about what's happening this weekend with Zwift Insider before we get going, because we got to get going here pretty quick for the sake of some awesome school stuff that's happening, I think, in New Zealand.
Yeah, sorry, my son's getting a school award and I definitely can't miss that. So podcast is on a tight finish today.
Anyway, yeah, we're doing the tiny races again this weekend. Shout out to Lisson last week, who in zone 1 took first place in all 4 races, which he hasn't done yet. He's been racing them every week, and he's been winning first overall just about every week. But he got 1,000 points. He took first in every one, top ranked Zwift racer in the world. And in fact, the women's top ranked is Christian Kolczynski right now, and she's been winning. I think she races zone 2. And she's been winning the women's side of.
I
zone
think
2As.
you're heading into Worlds,
2.
and didn't Joachim get a podium at Worlds one year too? I think. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think he's ramping up. Watch out. There's a reason why he's doing that, as well as Kolczynski. So really interesting. Well, hey, everybody, if you want to check out all of this update information as well in a written format, head on over to Zwift Insider, as well as to check out what's happening with the tiny races this weekend. Eric Schlange, thank you so much for jumping in with us again. Always super appreciated.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
Eric.
Always a pleasure.
Of course. All right, everybody. Eric's always awesome to have on. And next up, we've got the favorite part. We're going to have to run through it pretty quickly here. But we have the fashion show. I actually have never seen this kit before.
No.
Anna, so help me out here. So it looks like you picked this up, though, like you were just out riding and you saw it and don't even have it in the garage anywhere.
Yeah, no. So it is the jersey of the week. This is the Pushing Limits jersey. Now, I actually, while I'm out riding, if I ever see a great kit, I take photos and I've got a whole backlog of them on my phone. So this was one from actually quite a while ago that you can see me there. I was literally just out chilling out on a ride. And yeah, I knew nothing about this kit. So I went and had a Google, and it looks like it's a triathlon sort of blog site based in Germany. But if anyone knows more details, let me know. From what I could see, they're called Pushing Limits, run coaching, and they do a bit of apparel design, which you can tell because this kit is it really, really stood out. Like you can just tell a great kit by your eye just immediately goes to it. And this one is one of those. So really, for those listening to the pod format, a real crazy, it's like a skin suit. So purples and blues, all kind of in squiggly lines. I'm not so sold on the yellow collar because it doesn't really fit anywhere, but the skin suit just looks amazing.
Pushing Limits kit. It looks like it's made also by Castelli. I like Castelli kits. They're some of my favorite. They are some of my favorites. So nice little pick here. Let us know what your thoughts are on the fashion pick for this week. I also like it's matching with the Tron there. It's a good little match here. And your
yeah.
garage pick, this is the old school fastest wheels in the game. Used to be before we had the DT Swiss launch. The 858 Super 9s. These are expensive too.
Yeah, I call them the super flies because they're just super fly. But I use these wheels anytime it says, I go on Zwift Insight, it says use the most aero setup you have. I know they're faster wheels, but I just cannot go past these. How good do they look? And the reason I picked them is because you would love this, Nathan. I bought a fashion segment to the Ironman commentary over the weekend. I had an
Really?
award for the best kid out there, the best bike, and then I had one for the best wheels. And there were wheels out there that looked very similar to these, but actually what he'd done was custom painted. So there was no black on the wheel. It was just pure color, but in these kind of bright colors. And I was like, that is wheel. And it made me think of these ones. So yeah, shout out to the Superflies. Who cares
I
about
use
speed?
these
Like,
were
good.
these were the wheels for years. Those were the wheels too. Like
Yeah.
that was the go-to wheels. So those were super. If you're newer to Zwift, those were like the most popular setup for like the longest time. It was that,
Yeah.
and I don't think it was always the Venge. There was something else prior to the Venge that you would put them on. I forgot which bike it was though. Somebody needs to help me out.
Not the
In
Aero
chat.
mode.
Might have been. It was before all the Canyon got put in too. There was something, and I can't remember exactly what it is. Somebody will help me out in chat at some point. We'll figure that one out. But yeah, the Super 8s. Obviously, we've been Zwifting for a long time. If I can't even remember, we've gone through so many of the fastest bikes. It's so cool, actually, how the kid has changed so many different times
Yeah.
about which ones that you actually have to go after. So, all right, next up, before we go. Podcast during Christmas break on the 29th. Do we do a festive 500 ride with people? Is that actually going to happen? More info coming. More info coming. We're going to say more info coming.
Yeah.
And then next week, I'm going to be getting off a plane. So I think you're going to have a different guest. We'll see. I might be here. I might not be here. We'll see what's happening over the next week. I'm figuring out how to get to Brazil and get back with a Brazilian. So we'll see how that works out.
Good luck for that. And yes, so Nathan may be here, or it'll be an empty chair, or I will have got a guest. So I will have got a guest. I think I don't like putting a lot of trust in the air system at the moment, flights and things arriving on time. So yeah, we'll check that out. But yes, what are you doing this weekend, Nathan?
Making sure that whatever is going through the house right now doesn't get into me.
No.
That's so right now I'm too super chill. Like I'm kind of taking a week and a half of just like a little bit of weight. I might not even go to the weight room. I might like just take it easy, make sure I don't put too much pressure on the body. If I feel really good, like, and I don't, because I have felt a little bit like there's something, and my daughter definitely, she stayed home, a couple of people around the family. So I'm like, okay, make sure your immune system's good to go. And then from there, if we're feeling good, I'll hit up maybe the tiny races or something along those lines. But like, I'm kind of getting into like lift base period. And then next week, the dirt series starts. So I am definitely doing dirt on Tuesday. I'm super excited about that. And it's just an individual time trial, I think, for the first go. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh,
Kind of.
okay, I
fun,
might look at that.
Fun. I actually don't like
Fun,
ITTs at all. I don't actually like them
No.
at all. But I want to get through that to participate in the rest of it.
Okay. Good job. I am getting over my sickness, so I'll just be kind of probably doing route badges and riding zone 2 easy. Son, the 3-year-old, is actually loving, I put a picture on my Instagram last night. He is loving sitting on his little Fisher-Price smart bike, and he grabs a little keyboard and he puts the keyboard in front of him, and then he pretends he's a rider on the screen, and he literally rides with me for like 30 minutes now. So this has been awesome. So I'm super excited that he might come and do some rides with me too. Tune into my Twitch and you'll hear some very random chat coming from him. But also, I've locked in my Everesting date for in real life. So yeah, I better get some like hill work done. I've missed 2 weeks of training, so this is not ideal, and it could just be
It might be good. It might be good. You'll see. I mean, you've done a lot of
fingers
work
crossed.
over the last couple of months, I think, Anna. You might have a lot in there.
And well, thanks for that, Nathan. Hopefully that will be the true. And my motivation for the last round of ZRL is sky high. So I need to get well, and then I'm going to be just completely crushing myself with some workouts over Christmas.
Yeah, registration I think opened up already, so or at least it's opening up really soon. And be on the watch out for that to register for the next round. And we will be definitely looking forward to that rivalry. I saw Josh Lipka in the chat. He's listening, so
He better be, Josh.
he better be.
We're coming after you.
We're coming right.
Yeah, I don't
on.
like
We'll take-
I don't like losing.
All right, well, this has been episode number 22 of The Wrap. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We have been live on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, as well as Facebook. You can check this podcast out as well. Go anywhere that you download podcasts, search Zwift The Wrap, and you should be able to find it. Hit that follow, subscribe, comment, and follow up with us on all of the socials. We love to hear from you, and we include anything that you bring to us of interest into the show as much as we possibly can. Thanks everybody for tuning in. For myself and Anna, we'll see you out on Zwift, and as always, ride on.